So the unthinkable happened. I've been made to play Varus, an AD carry. No, and my God, is it like the worst role for me? I mean, my mid lane right now has a lot of antique type of champions, right? I still play stuff like Brand and Malzahar, so that shit's not that great. And top lane is a lot of reactionary champions or Gragas. It's like I play champions that can beat other laners, but they're never the top champions in the game at the moment. And bottom lane, I just play supports, the same supports that I always play. It's usually Tarek, Soraka, the occasional Leona, rarely actually though, and about that much. And as AD carry, I can't play anyone worth a shit. Varus and Graves are probably the ones that can play the most competently. Varus being slightly more than Graves, but as you can see, a team picked Graves before me, so I was made to play Varus. I know I played Jinx and stuff, but that was Jungle Jinx, and that's a whole different story. So now here's one thing about Varus that I've been receiving a lot as of late. People in the enemy team, in reviewing my stream and on my team, have said stuff like, Varus is a terrible champion, why'd you pick him? Turns like before this game, in fact, my teammates go, if you're gonna play an AD carry, you better not play Varus. He's terrible, and it actually upset me. Again, it's from the rant of the other day. It's Varus isn't bad. There's nothing that makes him bad. He's got some bad traits, and for sure, like his inability to escape and his fragileness, but that doesn't make him a bad champion. He's definitely out of meta right now because you see the same. It's like always the AD carry sort of rotate. Like right now, I think Graves is one of the champions being picked, surprisingly. And Jinx, of course, is still always being picked. But remember a while back, Corki wasn't seen, and Graves wasn't seen, and Tristana wasn't seen, and so on and so forth. It happens all the time. Hell, a little while ago, Varus was the king of, the AD carries and shit. So, it kind of bothers me that these same players will probably say, don't pick Graves or don't pick Corki or something when they fall out of style. Either way, the reason why Varus is a champion that caught on with me, at least, to the best that I can do, is because he's got utility. I'm a sort of utility player. I like to play supporting type champions, and Varus has that all. He's got damage, not as much damage. Got some caster type abilities. And he's got his ultimate, which I love it. If I could play Ashe, which I can't, I would play her too. But Varus is a nice substitute, and just as womanly as Ashe. Nonetheless, you'll see that I make some mistakes here in the game that probably shouldn't be doing as AD carry. Such as face tanking and getting really aggressive, forgetting the fact that I'm incredibly fragile. By the way, I saved Thresh's life there using my ultimate, not for the engage, but to keep the opponents from murdering him absolutely. So, here's another thing with AD carry roles. I am not the best AD carry, that's been established, but I am probably far better than you'd probably suspect, even if I rarely get any practice of it. That's because I stand by the whole philosophy or the whole idea that just because you don't do something doesn't mean you can't apply what you already know to make it easier. Like I've seen players play top lane, mid lane, or something and fuck it up completely, and it in Diamond and stuff, it distresses me. It's like, I never play X thing, I never play Y thing. You don't, but you've seen it been played. Certain things should be done. So at the best of your ability, you should try to adapt to it. At best, you should apply what you know about other champions towards the newer champions you're trying to learn. Because I never understood the people who make the excuse of like, let's say they play Maokai and then they play Malphite, or the other way around. Like, I didn't know I'm not supposed to initiate that way. How did you not know? You play Malphite / Maokai and they do something very similar. So it's like, if you wouldn't have done that as Maokai, then why would you do it as Malphite? Stuff like that, right? You should get yourself a little bit of an idea of how to do it. And I know I'm not really commentating on the game because I don't know dick of what I'm talking about as an AD carry. I'm just doing what I guess I'm supposed to do. What I'm supposed to know best, right? So if your friend or your teammate, well, not your teammate because you don't want them to fight with you, but if your friend ever tells you, I don't know how to play X role, just tell them, think about a champion or or a comparable role in, and sort of adapt to it that way. Like if you know a top lane sustain champion or a split pusher, how if you know a split pushing champion like Master Yi works a certain way, then you can sort of think that Aatrox, another split pushing champion, should try to take a similar note, right? Plus, there are things in the game that you just cannot ignore. It doesn't become a champion mistake or just not knowing the champion. It is a flat out player knowledge, like don't face check, or if the map is missing, if everybody in the enemy team is missing, don't go off on your own, sort of thing like that. It doesn't matter what champion you are. It applies to everybody. I've seen teammates who get killed by 3 people, and then they say, "Well, I never play Graves." I'm like, so? Doesn't mean anything. You died by wandering into the jungle alone. That's your own fucking fault, not Graves' fault. So, yeah. If ever your friends tell you, it's because if ever your friends try to blame a champion, remember what and analyze what they did wrong and figure out if they're just being dicks. So nonetheless, you can see here, like, I honestly kind of only started taking Q maxing it out first because last time that I played Varus, I maxed out E first. It was a sort of old school Varus thing that I learned from one of my friends who used to play AD carry tremendously. And it didn't work out as well, so I suppose he got nerfed at some point, or it's just not as great to max out first. So thanks to my viewers, I adapted that, and honestly, maxing out the Q first started to actually allow me to do a lot of cool little sniping skills and whatnot. And you'll actually see a cool sniping skill at one point here in the game. Nonetheless, I'm relying on my support to be very good. They say a good support player can make inexperienced AD carries badass, and it turns out it's true. This support player definitely knows what he's doing, or at least knows how to keep me alive, or to adapt to me to adapt to a person who doesn't quite exactly know what he's doing. So here, I hope you notice, it's like I am paying very close attention to what the enemy team can do. So I was able to kill Gnar because he was by himself and I was double buffed. I'm like, even if he were to jump on me, Thresh was nearby, or I could probably just walk away and do whatever. So it's just free damage. The Gnar made 2 mistakes there. He made a positional mistake in which he went through the line of fire for pretty much no gain. He was going to take free damage and lose health, even though he could have just gone around and achieve the same thing. And second, he underestimated my willingness to kill him. It happened so many times. And here, though, it's not willingness to kill. It's just me seeing the opportunity arise and me figuring that I could probably take the opportunity and get him. So I know I'm AD carry. I know I'm the AD carry and I'm not really supposed to roam, but it's a free kill. I just saw the opportunity and went for it. My jungle senses or my ganking senses lit up, and I figured that's some blood I can spill. Of course, here I figured I could have killed the Graves if I activated my heal, but that too is my reluctance from the other roles. Like in the jungle, you want to preserve your abilities, or pretty much just your abilities as much as you can. And I didn't want to use my heal willy-nilly, so it's just... Sometimes that's when your past knowledge can backfire on you, in which you play an aggressive champion or an aggressive role, or you're in an aggressive situation, and you're more used to playing, safely or carefully. Now here I'm actually going to rewind it because it was actually kind of a badass scene, but I fast forwarded too quickly. So me and Thresh hanging about. We see that Graves' bottom and we want to cut him off. We don't know if he went into the bushes, but Thresh found him there, and Graves was about to pretty much murder him. So I charge up my Q and flash forward, hoping just to get him with the tip. Graves ends up blinking right into the arrow and getting killed, and that is enough to save the Thresh. So hooray for me and Thresh. Like, this Thresh, I'm so pleased that I had a partner like him, because I was very worried about fucking up as an AD carry, but I could figure he's quite experienced, at least at Thresh. So he made the whole thing easier for me, and I got used to it quick. Well, not quick enough, safely enough to get in the groove of it. Because one of my problems when I play something like AD carry or a role I'm not used to playing too often is the first couple of minutes can be really awkward because I have to get back into the mood. I'm a very mood player, at least. You know, if I play an epic champion, I play epic music and try to get myself hyped. In fact, all my jungle videos tend to have music appropriate to the champion for that exact reason. Now, now, as you can see, like he's just on the ball there. He knows. I don't know if he knows what I'm doing or he knows that what I'm doing is stupid. So he's preparing to save my ass in every time. Right there, he saved me because I was being too very risky to, shoot down the Leona. So he's just there to pick me up. Though the last lantern was kind of pointless because we were both safe. And in this part, it's just gonna suck so bad. The Gnar flashes and gets all three of us, and we just get absolutely annihilated by the Leona and her team. Oh, such a messy play by us. And then this part is messy too. The Wukong kills a Shaco who's honestly been useless, but he flashes before he gets the last auto attack. He cancels his own auto attack animation and dies for free. He gets the inhibitor, but damn, that was a free inhibitor prior to that, so sadness. We still got most of the dragons. We still got most of the domination of the map, so. Still, though, as I was saying earlier, sure, you may not know how to play a role, but that's why you gotta take what you know and adapt it. I am not a comfortable AD carry player, but I, again, know about being safe. I know about ganks, and I know about at least, relying on certain teammates and using my spells appropriately to CC and control a fight. And you've probably noticed that throughout the whole game. I stood up for a few ganks, I moved about to avoid a few ganks, I took free shots against the opponents because I knew I was completely safe, and I trusted my Thresh teammate as much as possible, including using some of my abilities to save a few of my teammates. Again, most noticeably the ultimate at bottom lane, knowing that if I get all three of the enemy team, they won't be able to kill Thresh, and etc, etc. So, again, if you ever want to learn to play a new champion, just do that. Just there's almost no excuse. So unless the champion is insanely complex, you really have no excuse for not being able to at least understand the idea behind the champion. Learning mechanics and learning practice, that's another story and understandable if you have a little bit of a rough time learning the champion when it comes to that. But otherwise, understanding a champion is a whole other thing. Like if you're playing, I don't know, Garen, and you're just farming and being passive, that makes me sad, and you make me question humanity. If you play Soraka in support and you try to be super aggressive, I will question your intelligence. I mean, of course, unless the matchup is very in your favor, but still, you get what I'm trying to say. Understanding the champion is all of a basis of taking what you know. Critical thinking, applying your knowledge. You learn these skills in high school and probably even elementary school. AP students unite. But either way, hooray for Varus and hooray for this Thresh. I thank him for helping me not panic in this game. Yay for both of us.